Hello everybody, I am the Blind Scout, and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now I've been playing Microsoft Flight Simulator for a little bit, just a few days, and it is an incredible flight simulator. Now if you've never played flight simulators, usually the detail on the ground is really basically just terrain with a few minor building assets speckled in there, and very low quality. And this game from the air just looks incredible. Of course it's a flight game, so you're going to be in the air, and as you can see here, it just looks incredible. It is amazing to just see how detailed this game is. And since I live near Nashville, I figured I'd take a look at Nashville and see how it looked. And it's very, very good. Now I'm jumping into the drone camera. Now, Microsoft Flight Simulator has a drone camera that you can literally detach and just literally fly anywhere. Matter of fact, you can fly this, from what I can tell, all the way to the other side of the planet if you really wanted to. I mean, that would probably take a really long time, but still, from your aircraft. And you can also pause your aircraft in the middle of the air and just fly a drone, or you can hand it over to AI control. But just looking at Nashville is not one of the custom-made cities. And, if you look closely at it, it kind of shows, but it is amazingly detailed that is there, given the fact that these buildings seem to be, made by the AI system that they've got in there. And, you've got like the Batman building, which is obviously, that's pretty straightforward. And the building that I typically refer to as the R2 building, which is there. And you've got all these different buildings. Some of these buildings I'm pretty sure are not there, but, still the level of detail you've got, I think it's still called LP Field over there. And of course, I haven't been in Nashville for a little bit because of everything that's going on with coronavirus. It's been a few months, but still, the level of detail is amazing. I mean, it just boggles the mind. And yeah, you're just flying over it. And of course, you can see some of the problems, like the bridges. Obviously, they're solid, so there are things. It's not perfectly perfect. See, here you can see the Capitol building briefly. And, you can just see so many different details of Nashville that are actually there. I mean, it's just amazing. There's an old ruined building that's there. If you drive by the interstate, it's always there. So, I mean, it's one of those things that you just get used to seeing, and it was just kind of like, well, is that still there? Is that in the simulator? And yes, it is in the simulator. It is amazing kind of just looking at Nashville and seeing things, and there's a hospital, and it's just so cool. And up here we have the Parthenon, and we have a full-scale recreation of the Parthenon from Greece. And it's basically a museum, although it does have a statue of Athena in it. And it's one of those interesting things. It's in the, I forget the name of the park. Is it Bicentennial or the Centennial Park? I always get those two mixed up for some reason. I've never quite gotten that right. But it is interesting to see it in there. Some of the buildings are not really there, or they are just printouts on the ground. So it's very interesting and detailed, and it is a beautiful recreation for a flight simulator. You see errors here and there, you see problems here and there, but remember, this is a flight simulator. You can see it from the air. And then here, I've got a view from it. I made it so that the sun is setting on the horizon, and you can see the city at the evening time, or just as the sun is going down. and it looks amazing. And that's one of the things from this flight simulator. It's just amazing how beautiful a lot of these things look. I mean, the level of detail is just incredible for flight simulator. You're running around flying. And by the way, I meant to mention my mouse cursor is in the corner there. I kept putting it on a separate screen, and so it was not visible when I was recording, but it popped up in the recordings right there for whatever reason. But again, Nashville is just a beautiful city anyway. And it's just kind of interesting to see it just kind of recreated. Not perfectly again, but still, it's amazing what the game can do. One other thing you can do in flight simulators, you can change the season, you can add snow, you can change the weather, you can literally just change things to whatever you do. By default, it takes real-world weather and plops it in there, and it's also an MMO where you're flying with a bunch of other people, so you can see other people flying around if you happen to encounter them. I didn't in this in particular flight, but it's just amazing watching how all this works. And if you've played flight simulators in the past, it is really rather amazing. I mean, it's not a perfect flight simulator, but it is amazing the detail and everything else that's in this, including like inside the aircraft. You can look at all the all the controls. You can interact with everything. It's a big improvement over the old flight simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator. And here's the waterfront. Of course, you can see there's some water sitting on the actual waterfront. It's kind of a little bit of a glitch, and there's a fort there if you look that you can't really completely tell, but it's very interesting. And then I decided to take a look at it at night, and it looks pretty good. Obviously, the lights on the buildings and everything are wrong, but still, it still looks very cool. Very, very cool indeed. And so, that's about all I've got for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. And it was really fun making this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Oh yes, and this happened to me when I went to unfreeze my aircraft. It was a little bit of a surprise.